Hello everyone, Care Bear here to share with you a few finished objects. Since January, I have been busy knitting the dump truck series of sweaters and hats for a number of little ones in our world, and I wanted to add some accessories to the sweater and use up all the yarn that I had, so I have done some other items that I'm going to share with you today. So let me show you. The first are these little mittens. So I decided that I had reached out actually to all the mamas of these little ones to ask if they could use these mittens and if they wanted the I-cord string to go with them. So the first pair of mittens that I'm going to show you are the World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. This is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it gives you sizes from toddler all the way up to adult large. And you can use fingering weight yarn, DK weight yarn, worsted weight yarn, and chunky yarn. The pattern will guide you with all those different weights of yarn. So they start with US 0 or 2 millimeter needles all the way up to US 8, which is a 5 millimeter needle. So it's a fabulous pattern. I really like it. I've made one other adult mittens following this pattern before, and I like it because it's so well laid out and it's color coded for all those different weights of yarn, and then you have all those possible sizes. So the size that I made was the toddler size. I guess I should turn it the other way. And this is to go with the dump truck sweater. So you can see I added the word honk honk on those mittens. So I will tell you a little bit about the material that I used, because I was using the same that I had used for the sweater. So it is a Softy Baby acrylic yarn, which makes it nice and easy for the parents to wash. It is a DK weight yarn, so I used a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter and a US 6, which is a 4 millimeter. So the 3.5 on the cuff, and then the body of the mitten, I used the 4 millimeter needles. With the DK weight yarn, I did record and I weighed these with the I-cord and the mittens. It's just under 30 grams of yarn that you need. So let me tell you a little bit about the construction of these cute little mittens. They are a bottom-up construction, so you start with the cuff, and I folded these. I guess you don't have to. And you do a knit purl ribbing, and then you change needles and you go into the body of the mitten. And it really truly is the world's simplest, because the way that they have you construct the area for the thumb, it's really simple. And you put the thumb on hold, and then you continue on with the mitten. You decrease up at the top. Last few stitches, you just pull through all on your yarn, and then you sew it in at that point. Then you pick up for the thumb, and you knit in the round to finish off the thumb. And again, you pull it through the last few stitches and then sew that together. It's the way she does the thumb, I think, is what makes this so simple. And the pulling through of the thread at the top, there's no Kitchener stitch, and it's a great pattern. Very easy. What I did then for the I-cord, I used 4 stitches on a 4 millimeter needle, and I just laid this down with the sweater to estimate the size that I needed for that I-cord. And then I sewed it together, and I used the duplicate stitch to do the honk honk, and I had also used the duplicate stitch to put the dump truck motif on the sweater and on the hats, and so I added that to the mittens. So if you need to learn more about duplicate stitching, I put a link below to Nimble Needles, who does a great job at teaching you how to duplicate stitch. So that was the first pair of mittens that I did, and this is for a toddler, so someone who's at the age of 2 when I will be gifting this. All of these for the little kiddos are for the fall of 2026. But because I have so many of them, I start in January and I start to work forward for their birthdays and holiday knits. So that's the first pair of mittens that I made, and let me show you the other accessories. So the next pair of mittens are really teeny tiny. These are for a 1-year-old, and I picked this pattern by Ruth because I've used this before, and it's called Toddler Mittens on a String, and that's where I learned how to do attaching of the string and the creating of that. This pattern again is free on Ravelry, and I use the DK weight yarn, the same weight yarn, and it calls for US 5 and 3.75 millimeter needles. I don't have 3.75 millimeter double pointed needles, so I used 3.5 or a US 4, and I used, I think, 20 grams to make these. Very similar to the other ones, but it's a nice perfect size for babies or 1-year-old, and that's, I've made this so many times before that I wanted to continue with Ruth's pattern for the younger ones of our family. So again, it's a cuff, starting with the cuff. It's a bottom up construction, you're ribbing. I don't change needle size, I stay with 3.5. Get into the body of the mitten, you put the thumb on hold, and then you move up. You're decreasing as you come to the top, and the last few stitches you pull the yarn through those stitches and sew it on. Again, picking up for that thumb and a couple other stitches right at the where the thumb and the body meet. You have to pick up a couple there, and you do, I think, about 5 or 6 rounds in the thumb, and then you knit, do some decreasing in the last round, and then you pull the last few stitches through with your needle. So it's a pretty simple little knit. And then I do the I cord. I also add my KarebearKnitwear tag that says Care Knit Bear Wear when you fold it in half. And these are the cute little mittens that will go for the 2 youngest ones. And these are great for about a 1-year-old. So if you're looking for to make mittens, the world's simplest mitten, and these mittens are great too, by Ruth. And now the next little accessory that I made was the first time I've ever done this. I had reached out to the mamas and I asked about the strings and the mittens, and one mama had said, you know, maybe not mittens because this little one is a little bit older. He's into the snow and whatever on the playground. So she said they're always getting wet. So he could really use a cowl or a neck warmer. So I thought, okay. And I did some research on Ravelry and I came across Danny's heart warmer pattern. And I think this is a fantastic little pattern. I'll tell you more about it. But it is for a 1-year-old up to a 6-year-old, and I made the largest size. It's for a 5-6-year-old, and it calls for DK weight yarn, a US 6 or a 4 millimeter needle, and that's exactly what I did. I used a 4 millimeter needle to create this. You're also knitting in the round. I used the same yarn, the Softy Baby, which for this little cowl was 35 grams of yarn. I like the construction of this pattern because it gives you options. So at the very top, I'm not sure if you can see this, I'm going to hold it right up nice and close, but there is a seed stitch with the one that I did. You have the option to do a just plain knit, and then it would give you a roll collar. And for the top of the cowl. You're knitting in the round, you move into the body. There are some raglan increases here to do the shoulders. And then you move through the body. There are some short rows for that shaping down at the back and the front to make that kind of pointed or gradual decreasing into the middle. And then at the bottom, you have the option to, again, do a seed stitch if you like, or a ribbing. And um, that's the little cowl. It was a pretty quick little knit. I think what makes this so unique is the options that you're given. And what I like about this pattern, she has a lot of video tutorials. So if you don't know how to do a make one right or make one left, um, or how to do short rows, she has videos for all the different steps within the cowl. Plus, she has pictures for all the different sizes that are available because there's 4 different sizes. And she also has samples that show the seed stitch, the um, a 1 by 1 ribbing at the bottom, a roll collar. So you get to see all the different cute little ones that she has, and I just think it's a wonderful pattern. It's free on Ravelry, so I had searched a number of them. I found quite a number of them, but I needed one that was going to work with this DK weight yarn, and I selected Danny's. So if you're looking for a cowl pattern for little ones from 1-year-old to 6-year-old, check out Danny's Heart Warmer. So those were the accessories that I've added, and I will be gifting these along with the little hat. And for all of the kiddos, I made raglan sweater, and I will be putting them in these cute little toddler bags that I made, these little pouches that hold just a toddler size sweater and hat and mitts and the cowl. And I will be gifting all of these in the fall of 2026 with little books on trucks or whatever, dump trucks, pickup trucks, whatever I decide to put with it. And yeah, so that's the gift set that I put together for our toddlers in the new year. So if you wish to know more about the sweater or the hat or even how to sew that bag, I put all the links down below in the description and you can check it out there. Thanks for watching.